Hello, I like to make today M&M's whoopie pies, which we will decorate them obviously for M&M's. And so what we use for this recipe is we use actually chocolate fudge cake mix, but I believe it can be made practically from any cake mix, basically, which is makes quite easy. Chocolate comes very well for this recipe, especially chocolate fudge, because M&M's is chocolate. So what we do is we preheat our oven to 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit, and we have two 12-hole round based patty pans. It's about 1 tablespoon. As you can see, they one of those round ones, small. And what we do is we grease with oil spray or butter spray or whatever cooking spray you actually using. So we grease and set aside. So next is we mix our chocolate fudge cake according to instruction, which is I use actually 3 large eggs and 125 grams of butter melted and 3/4 cup or 180 ml of milk. I use this kind of ingredients, and we got quite nice and thickish cake batter, but I think thick is good because we want to make sure our M&M's keep shape very well. So this basically patty pans, it's about 1 tablespoon. So what we do is we just place 1 tablespoon. Do not overfill because you don't want that it's go over the borders. So once you fill all the 12, go for another one, which is another patty pan will be made 24 in total. And if you have any cake batter is left, to just bake first lot, refill again, and bake the rest remaining. So what we do is here we just nicely kind of to fill up into shape to make sure it's not too much. If you see that you fill up too much, best of all to just remove it, otherwise it's come out of the borders of these little round shapes, which is we don't want that happen. So as you can see, this one slightly overfilled, so we simply move it away and nicely round up. And what we do is next we I fill up rest later. So and what we do is next is tap it, make sure it's full into shape. As you can see, we don't fill up completely to edges because we let the chocolate fudge is rise and form into M&M's. So next step is to put in our preheated oven for about 10 minutes. It just depends from the ovens, and but we'll look around 10 minutes and see what will happen. Once they will bake, what we have to do is we basically have to immediately tap our trays and in our working surface to remove cakes and transfer to a wire rack to cool. Once our chocolate fudge whoopie pies baked, it took 10 minutes in my oven. So after 10 minutes, what we do is immediately tap trays on basically our working surface or bench. It's not really hard because we spray them with a cooking oil or cooking spray. Believe me, once you basically twist your baking tray, they will come out immediately at once. So that's very, very easy. And basically, once you're done that, also a good idea, just have a look, make sure you're able to see. Good idea as you can see, I done it right here, is I place on a cooling rack which is lined with non-stick baking paper. Reason is I done that because I don't want all these little square lines is actually basically left any prints on our whoopie pies, because we want them nice and round. So if you place non-stick baking paper on top of cooling rack and place our whoopie pies on top. Also a good idea, I find it, if we place our whoopie pies actually baked bottom part, which was basically inside of a patty pan, our bottom part we place as it's baked basically, because we don't want to twist it around. I tell you why, because if you twist them around, this part, top part, which is raised, is softer and it's kind of going down, so it does not really make great shape of the M&Ms we wanted. Another thing I saw, if you do not fill up too much of the cake batter, you will get a beautifully shaped, basically look like M&M. But if you fill up too much, what will happen? It will rise and you can get this little edge a little bit extra, which is you don't want it. So do not fill up too much, just 1 tablespoon, and just to make sure it's basically do not fill up whole entire basically patty pan rounds. And that's another thing. And we will get 48 whoopie pies. So this is great recipe, because 48 whoopie pies, it's good for party or for the any kind of gathering. So what we do is next step is to coat it our whoopie pies. I find it easiest way to coat is basically we're using different color candy melts. Of course, we can use red, blue, the orange, yellow. For the dark color, we can use dark chocolate as well. If you do not like taste of candy melts, you can tint it white chocolate, just a normal white chocolate or white buttons melting with the various colors. But you do have to purchase them because they're specially designed for the chocolate, basically tinted. They are oil based, which is just like chocolate or candy melts, and they need to be used. Or another alternative is if you're using white chocolate and add a little bit of a already tinted candy melts, it will be not as bright, but you will get most of chocolate and just get color from candy melts. Chocolate and candy melts mix together very well because they both is oil based. Also, if you once you start melting in a microwave or on top of saucepan with simmering water, we do need to add about 1 tablespoon of a vegetable oil or any white vegetable type of shortening, like Crisco, for example. For half a bag of candy melts, we need about 1 tablespoon, about like that. Something like it depends on brand you're actually using of candy melts, because it makes it just more spreadable, more even. Otherwise, it's too thick and it's really hard to coat. And what we do is next, basically, as you can see, I use the green color candy melts here. It's just hardened right now because I finished with it. And I saw a good idea if you do basically work with 1 color at a time, because it makes it easier. Once you make a whole basically whatever you're using, saucepan or deep plate or anything, you have whole bunch, you tint it, basically color it all your number of whoopie pies with this color, and then you can go for another one. Otherwise, by the time when you're working with one color, other color will harden, and you have to do same work twice. So what we do, process is very simple. Once we melt, say for example here, we melt actually dark chocolate because I use it for dark color M&Ms, and what we do, we take one of our whoopie pies and simply place it in, and we're using 2 forks and just twist it around, just not too long, just 3-4 times to just make sure it's nicely coated. And what you do is on the end just place a little bit, just it's basically works better on top. You know where is your top will be because it's nice and smooth. So what you do is next lift your whoopie pie with the 2 forks and try get rid of excess of chocolate or candy mousse, whatever you're using. Reasons why I'm saying it's important to get rid of excess, it means it's not be built up on the bottom when you place on a non-stick baking paper. It will be not build up too much. So we place it on non-stick baking paper, and which is placed on have a look, just make sure you're able to see. Yep. Non-stick baking paper, which is we place on a tray. Reason is I put on a tray because once we put all different colors, we just simply place in the freezer for about 10 minutes, just nicely quickly set. Basically, you can place in the refrigerator as well, just to make sure it's nice and hard. Probably if your kitchen is also not too warm, you can leave it, it will harden as well, just takes a little bit longer. In fridge or freezer takes only 10-15 minutes maximum. So once you're done that, as you can see, the nice and shiny, and what it is, it goes now basically in freezer to harden. So next is we need to basically decorate it. Once we took our whoopie pies from the freezer or refrigerator, whatever you basically place them, if you get rid of excess of your candy melts or chocolate, you get something, you don't get really much, it's tiny bit just left over on the bottom, but I think it's okay. But if you do get rid of a lot of the excess of candy melts or chocolate and carefully place it, you will get even better basically. But this is not too bad, it's practically even. So what we do is next we're using very simple process of writing. It's about tip about 2 white writing icing, and we simply write letter M on top of our whoopie pies. Use toothpick to place it everything on a place, and as you can see here, our blue M&M, which is look great, and it's actually very tasty as well because chocolate fudge, it's nice and tasty. And now we just one I didn't actually color, but that's all right, we just place here. And here our M&Ms, as I said before, from this recipe, from one box of chocolate fudge cake mix, we will get 48 whoopie pies. So it's really great, and they have a really good, nice shape basically. And as I said, do not fill up because you want them nice and even, because see, as you can see, they look like practically M&Ms, and with a little bit of decoration, that's easy to achieve this beautiful little cakes. I hope you do like this recipe, and everything will be in the description box. Thank you very much for your time with me today. Until next time, goodbye.